Okay, guys, welcome to another Chaotic Sports chat. You can find us at Chaotic Sports on Twitter, at Chaotic Sports Podcast on Instagram. With me today, I got Loso Burrow. I got Wayne. Never do I lose.
Wayne.
Insane Wayne. And where I don't even know, dude. I'm so used to you guys interrupting me during the intro. I don't even know what to do now.
Hey, well, before I used to do a little bit of the intro too, in case you forget. But
I do forget.
You did forget that. Back in the day, I used to put out a little Twitter. Find us on Twitter. Find us here. Find us there. Plus, we get sick of hearing you talk after a couple minutes, so that's why we usually interrupt you during that.
Well, the good news is for you two and the fans is that it's well known I'm not the biggest college football fan, so you probably won't hear me talk as much today. And just maybe about Aaron Rodgers' feelings, but that's about it.
So you know what that means, Lo. This is going to be the one podcast full of straight sports knowledge.
Well, let this guy do his intro first. I mean, come on.
I didn't even know what to do. I didn't get interrupted. I was like, man, these intros are pretty quick if no one says shit. So anyway, I don't know, dude. I feel like this wasn't this a little podcast supposed to start at 5:30?
Yeah, but Wayne was at the Cleveland Brown store buying stuff,
I don't know. I tell you guys to show up at 5:15. Fucking Angelo shows up at 5:29. He's like, I'm on time.
Dude, every other time I'm 20 minutes early.
Wayne, well, look, we're on at 5:47. Wayne showed up at like 5:43.
36 after. After.
Where were you, though?
Reasonable.
Were you stuck in traffic?
No, man. I had failed to get this thing set up. So it's all good though. We're here. We're about to make it happen. Dog out. Woof, woof.
So anyway, so not only Wayne. Well, let's be honest. So he's 6 minutes late from the starting time. 26 minutes late, or 21 minutes late from when we're all supposed to meet on here together. But hey, it's actually an improvement because this asshole didn't even show up for the Last Dance podcast. He didn't even show up.
So that podcast, he was like 80 hours late on that. I mean, he's back now, but that was last Sunday.
Yeah, what happened there?
Well, what I'll say is, you call yourself, or you claim to be the leader of this, this band. So at the end of the day, the responsibility lies on you, So let's step your game up and be more of a leader next time, okay? Let's facilitate.
So I got to go to Cleveland. Hey,
he's going to shove you in front of the camera. He's going to tie you up and put you in front of the camera.
I got to go to Cleveland. I got to knock on his door. I got to go, I need you to be online at a certain time, even though you knew the time. The link was sent to you in the stream. And you supposedly watched it live. Even though we're all like, is Wayne even watching this? And you supposedly watched it live.
First of all you had to do was drop the link again in the text. I forgot that the link was dropped previously.
No, but why would he? Hold on.
24 hours ahead of time.
Why? No, it was only like a few hours ahead of time. But why would he drop the link
24.
again when we were watching the show, The Last Dance, and then the plans were to do a podcast right after the show. So why would he drop the link again?
Which you knew.
So if anything, you should have been trying to.
This guy's on his phone right now again.
Dude, he's on.
What I want to say, no, I'm just letting you guys, gather on.
He asked you a question.
Do you even listen to what Los says most of the time?
I mean, most of the time you guys probably do, but sometimes you don't. But nobody listens to each other. I block you guys off half the time too, but you know what I mean?
I listen to the important stuff. I filter. I got a BS filter.
Okay, but our thing we were saying is don't let it happen again. Okay?
Don't let it happen again.
So after The Last Dance, we're podcasting right after The Last Dance. So that doesn't mean 8 hours later try to see if we're doing a podcast. We're doing it right after the Last Dance.
Just make sure I got the link.
So Wayne, are you going to be on the Last Dance podcast tomorrow? Are you going to be on the Last Dance post game report?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it, Lo.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get into it. We've all had our nose to the TV or to the internet or to whatever. I mean, there was a lot of draft coverage, man. Now that everyone's okay with, because there's always a bunch of us assholes on YouTube and doing podcasts and stuff, right? But now that everyone's okay with like doing stuff from your home, I mean, ESPN had like 3 streams of people like, looking basically like, looking with technology like this. They had 3 different streams doing that. CBS had it. There was a whole bunch of other people doing it. So I think that there was way more video reactions than ever before for the NFL draft, it being virtual this time. So before we get into the meat of this thing, like, are you as surprised as me that it went so smoothly? Didn't you expect there to be all kinds of problems or some controversy? A lot of people were waiting for that, but it went really smooth. I mean, Roger Goodell looked like he was, had all his lines memorized, but other than that, it went really smooth.
Well, go ahead, Wade. I got something for him after this.
First of all, I want to say what's up to my dog, Zachary. I see you out there, little youngster. Z-Bo. What's up, bro?
Say hi.
To be honest, what's up, brother? To be honest, I think, I didn't expect too much of technical issues, just because, I mean, ultimately, we are in the technology age, and a lot of communication does take place via telecom and via the internet. So, I think it did go smoothly. I'm sure there were some small glitches, but overall, nothing that had a drastic effect on teams actually making their picks.
I'll say there was a glitch. I saw a glitch.
Oh, the kid. Is it the Vrabel?
No, not the Vrabel. That guy was supposedly sitting on a bench, not
I saw that,
crap.
but...
I don't think he was taking a crap.
Yeah. Did you wait well, actually, go ahead. We'll ask Wayne if he saw the Vrabel stuff.
Okay. Well, my glitch was, and I want to congratulate the Las Vegas Raiders for the 2020 having the 2020 draft. Congratulations, guys. We'll see you.
Are you serious? Yeah. The Raiders?
You didn't hear that? Goodell. He congratulated us on next hosting the 2020 draft.
Oh, the 2021 draft.
2020.
No, 2020.
2022, you moron.
No, 2020. 2020.
No, next year the draft. The next year's draft is in
Cleveland. I know that, but
the one after that is going to take place in Las Vegas.
Hold on. Lo,
you're not listening, Wayne. You're not listening.
Can't you hear? Lo has a spin, Wayne.
No, Wayne, you're not listening. Congratulations to the Las Vegas Raiders for holding the 2020 draft. That's what he said. He messed up. It wasn't a big deal, but it was just like, I was like, did I hear it wrong or what? He was basically, he meant to say 2022, and he said 2020. What we're already doing the 2020 draft.
He's pointing out a mistake.
In that regard, I did hear him call a bunch of wide receivers running backs and a bunch of. It was a little weird.
Did he really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah, like at least twice.
So he had a lot of eyes on him. He's not used to doing all that video stuff. He messed up, but the draft overall was not that bad, right? It was kind of cool,
Yeah, it went really great. Wayne, if you didn't see it, well, where are we? Gotta share the screen.
Yeah, he's showing them the. They call it the stool gate, and it's called stool gate for 2 reasons.
Yeah. So check this out. I'm surprised you didn't see this because you're normally on that.
He was either sitting in a stool or doing something that had to do with stool.
Well, he was definitely sitting in a stool. We know that now. But when people are you guys seeing the screen right now?
Yeah, but it's not big enough for Wayne to see.
Oh yeah, let me get up close.
Yeah, I can see it.
So first of all, dude, you got this guy looking like the fucking like the freeze.
That was a little weird to me. I guess he's. I took it as okay. He's the Titans like mascot.
Well, Vrabel's the clown, right?
Atlanta. But look at this. Look at this, Wayne. What's this kid doing?
Wayne, do you see the mirror? The reflection in the mirror?
Do you see the reflection in the mirror right there?
I see. No, I do kind of see something, but not 100% certain there.
It doesn't look like he's taking a dump. Doesn't look like he's taking a dump.
So they kept going live to Vrabel, and people were probably seeing this in reflection, you know.
Right.
And I say he was going to the bathroom. To be honest with you, I think he was going to the bathroom, and that's why.
Later on, we find out, Wayne, that he's probably sitting on a stool. He's sitting next to his mom. But everyone, for one, you have the freeze. You got a dude dressed up. You know, it's like his son's slacker friend too. By the way, his son's slacker friend lives with them for some reason, and he's dressed up like a mascot. And then there's like a kid that looks like he's taking a dump right next to him. So Vrabel's draft room wins the day.
Yeah, it's a close. That's a close. Belichick's a close first, though. You had the dog making draft picks and stuff. I love that.
Oh yeah, that was a good time. Well, you're not supposed to drink soda.
I don't know, Wayne. Did you see that? Chris saw it. His dog was just in the chair making draft picks.
In the chair.
Yeah, I love that. And it was like Bill Belichick, and it just showed the dog. I love that.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
And then who was outside? I think Arians was outside.
Arians was outside in the probably like poolside. You know. Other than that, everybody. The thing I didn't like, real quick, about the draft, and it wasn't even a big deal, but you're going live to the players, and obviously there's a delay, but it's like you got the reaction. It was like, and this guy's life has changed. Here's millions of dollars, and they're just sitting there like on their phone doing nothing, you know, because obviously the delay. You guys notice that, every person?
Yeah, because there's like the good minute delay.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, a minute or two later, then they jump up, and it's like, okay, is this fake now? Or are they just acting like it? Or
hey, who was it that had to take the phone away from his girlfriend?
Yo,
that was CD.
Who was it? Who was it that had to take the phone away from his girlfriend? You guys both posted it.
CD Lamb.
She's about to check his phone. He's all no.
Yeah.
So I was commenting it because they were saying like here's CD Lamb. He does have quick hands, and he notices stuff. You know, it was his tangibles. He was like got the phone while he was doing something else. You know.
Yeah.
You guys can't hear me pretty good or no?
No, I can hear you. Wayne's just, I don't know, Wayne's playing Castlevania on his phone right there. He's playing NES Castlevania or some shit.
Nah, I can hear you guys. Talking.
I know you can hear us. You're just not all there. You're not all there.
I'm here.
We need you to be all there, Wayne. When you're all there, you're only about half there. So if you're not all there, you're not there at all, brother.
Anyway, let's just talk about the draft a little bit and just end this fucking suicide here. Hey, who had the best draft?
Go ahead, Wayne. Jump in.
Or just talk about the Browns. I don't care.
I always go first, so this is on you, Lo. Go ahead.
So who had the best draft overall, like out of any team?
Yeah, and don't worry, dude. We're not gonna hold you like this is the best draft. You said so. I mean, just while you were watching. I mean, we're not studying. This is not an in-depth fucking podcast. You know what I mean? We're just talking about sports. So as you were watching, who did you go? Man, they did really well. Like, oh man, those are good picks. I mean, I think the Cowboys did pretty damn well.
Time out. Hey, Chris, I don't know if you know, but your mic, you're talking, it's cutting out a lot of words, and it's like
Lo, am I cutting out, or am I cutting out, or is it his earphones?
I think it's Wayne's earphones overall, probably.
That you can hear?
No, I feel like I can hear you. I feel like I can hear Chris.
You're definitely choppy.
Yeah, but if he can hear, then that means it's your earphones. If I'm choppy to both of you, that means it's not. Do you get that?
Yeah, Wayne, I feel like I hear him. Do you hear me?
I'm not saying I don't hear you, but Lo's so slow that he doesn't recognize that your words are coming out delayed.
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't if he heard the choppiness too. It's more. If Lo talks a lot, he gets choppy. Yeah, maybe it's the way I sound. Anyway, what the hell was I going to say? As I was watching, it was looking like the Cowboys were doing really well. That might just be because I see skill players only. when I see a bunch of skill players getting taken off the board, I'm like, oh, they're doing well. I'm sure that Aaron Rodgers watched Mike McCarthy pick a wide receiver in the first round and then wonder to himself, 15 years and McCarthy didn't draft a wide receiver in the first round for me. So just right off the bat, and I see other. I'm like sort of scrolling. I see other better grades here, which I'll. Never mind. This thing that I have here for, I guess, is the New Yorker. I just grabbed one so I can get a list of names. They actually do have the Cowboys as an A+. I thought the Cowboys were a little bit lower. So they got CeeDee Lamb, who we just talked about, Trevon Diggs from Alabama, a cornerback. They got a defensive tackle, and Reggie Robinson, another cornerback, and then a center. So
you guys think the Bucs did pretty good?
Let's see what they got.
Yes,
I think the Bucs did good because they got they went like offensive tackle, a couple tackles, and some defense, and then it got them like I like the Bucs picks overall. I mean, the Raiders did all right, I thought too, right? They went receiver, cornerback, safety, like they went defense.
Well, if you take the Love pick out that the Packers did, I think most people were really surprised that the Raiders took what's his name, Ruggs over Judy. I think the general consensus was you went for the speed guy again.
Well, Ruggs is the speed guy. He's the fastest guy.
That's what I mean. You went for the speed guy. I
always go for the speed guy.
I thought most people thought that Judy was easily ahead of him.
Yeah, but the Raiders always go speed. You know that already, so this is not surprising at all. They always go speed.
Well, it doesn't have to be surprising, but it doesn't mean it was good. You know what I mean? You said I thought the Raiders did good. Their first pick, a lot of people were like, they got to take Judy. Judy's better. What do you guys think? Do you think who would you rather have, Judy or Ruggs?
Well, a lot of people say these guys are similar. Like it would either way, you can't go wrong, right? I think.
Well, I would have preferred to have had Judy. Jerry Judy, because it's been proven over time that good route running is what really makes wide receivers successful. And there's a lot of guys in the NFL, in my opinion, that have a lot of speed, but they can't catch. So if you can't catch, like that Titans receiver.
Well, you said the important thing, hands. That's important.
What's the guy at the Titans that's real fast but doesn't catch consistently well?
Who are you talking about, wide receiver?
I could get by you all day, but if I can't catch the ball, once I get by you, it does nobody any good.
So all that disagreeing that me and Wayne had did on the thread about wide receivers, I 100% agree with him here. I think, of course, hands are important, Lo. Right, but if you're not running routes, the quarterback's not throwing to you, or he's checking down. If you can't run those routes right, if you can't get open,
well, you can teach that route more than you can teach hands. I think you know what I mean.
Apparently, you're not going to be in the NFL that long. There's natural selection in the NFL. If you don't got hands, you're going away.
That's what I'm saying. Hands.
Anyway, yeah, but route running, you're just never going to get the ball. So it doesn't matter if you have hands. That was the biggest problem on the Packers. And that's why a lot of people thought they were going to take a wide receiver. A lot of people thought they were going to take a wide receiver in the first or second round. They didn't take a wide receiver at all, by the way.
No, yeah, they did.
They took it at the end?
Yeah, the Packers took.
No,
they got a tight end.
I thought they got a running back and a wide receiver.
No, they got a running back and a quarterback and a tight end.
Okay, tight end.
Yeah, quarterback. So they got a Dylan running back, Josiah DeGuara, tight end from Cincinnati. Okay. Yeah, so they got, I guess, a tight end as a receiver, depending how you look at him, but they didn't get a wide receiver. That's anyway, to the route running, that's exactly what was the problem with the Packers is no one could get open. You know what I mean? So Aaron Rodgers throwing it away a lot. So I agree, and I can't really say, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like, I know that much of a difference between Judy and Ruggs. But if one guy's a speedster and one guy has, more tools, then I have to go with Judy. And that was what most people were saying.
Well, they also drafted two other wide receivers too.
Who, the Raiders?
Yeah, they got three wide receivers and like safety, cornerback. They did pretty good. Browns did good. They got a linebacker, even though I wanted to get Simmons. You know?
By the way, the Corey Davis is the wide receiver that I was talking about. Just
That you're talking about?
he was real fast, but just never really had much success in the NFL.
Okay. So yeah. So I mean, and actually, all these speedsters that the Raiders have, that we know that they draft. It was Al Davis before, but apparently Al Davis is smiling down from heaven at this pick. I mean, who really was successful in the NFL out of those speedy wide receivers they always draft?
Well, nobody.
Yeah. So I mean, so it's not a surprise, but it was a mistake. Now's the moment that Wayne's been waiting for. Wayne, why don't you talk a little bit about the Browns draft? What did you like about it? I want highlights, surprise, and disappointment. So, what's the highlight? What was the surprise, and what was the disappointment?
Oh man!
If you need me to shoot out the names, I can do it. I got them here in front of me.
Well, this is what I'm going to say. Obviously, there's no secret. We needed to address our offensive line. So I appreciate, with the first pick, getting what they believe was the best offensive tackle in the draft, Jedrick Wills. Because Wills, I'm sorry, Jedrick Wills.
Yeah.
I think that he is versatile because first of all, they're looking to get him to be the left tackle. So protecting Baker's blind side. He played right tackle at Alabama, so that means he's well coached. He understands the game. He understands his position.
Was he the second tackle off the board, right? Second tackle off the board, I'm pretty sure.
He was the second tackle off the board, and he did actually cover the quarterback at Alabama's blind side because he was a lefty, or he was a lefty quarterback. I'm real glad that we got Grant Delpit, the LSU safety. I think he's very rangy. I like positional players that can do a lot of things.
Is this the dude? Is this the dude? Is this the dude that can like be linebacker too? Like can play multiple positions? Is that him?
Right. So
okay,
I like that. He's a ball hawk. He's real successful. Their third pick in the draft is somebody I'm kind of looking forward to seeing play. He came from Missouri.
Yeah.
Jordan Elliott. He's a big guy.
Wade was sending me videos of him, of Elliott.
315 pounds, but very athletic and quick. Very athletic and quick as a run stopper, because I think that's a huge not a huge hole, but it's a big deal with the Browns defense. We were lacking the ability to stop the run. So I think if you have somebody that can be athletic and rangy and quick off of blocks and get to the ball carrier, I think we can find success with, our defensive end going after the quarterback and stopping the run as well.
Then they went linebacker after that, right? Then they go linebacker after that?
LSU linebacker. So I like the two LSU picks within the four picks that we took. I just think that creates for good team chemistry. And then you have a linebacker and a safety for the duration of their rookie contracts that will be able to play well together. So,
and I liked it because they went all defense besides the offensive tackle, besides their first pick.
So for Wills though, Wayne, is this what most mock drafts and you're on the street in Cleveland? Is this what most mock drafts and most Cleveland fans expected? Did they expect to get Wills, or were they hoping that Andrew Thomas, who's the other offensive tackle that got taken, were they hoping that he would drop down to you, or was Wills the expectation?
None of them either. Thomas was low end. Thomas got drafted 20 picks before even anybody would have thought.
Yeah.
Well, Thomas was the first one off the board, I believe. I think he went to the Giants.
Yeah.
But Wills was the consensus automatic, ready to play today offensive tackle on the board. They just he played against elite competition.
Thomas was a surprise pick, basically.
was a surprise. So then is that though what, like, when when you looked at mock drafts or whatever, or when people were talking Cleveland sports radio, were people expecting Wills to go to Cleveland? I mean, the idea was you guys were going to get an offensive. You guys needed offensive line help, right? So that was the expectation. Right. That's what you're going to draft. So were most people talking about Wills the last week or two?
Yeah. He actually, Joe Thomas, I saw an interview recently where Joe Thomas kind of reached out to him prior to the draft and let him know that, hey, if you need anything, I'm here for you. So that kind of solidified it that, hey, if this guy was there, that's who we were going to take. So he's already got a relationship built with the Hall of Famers. So hopefully he can, play in the shadows and find some success too as a left tackle.
So Andrew Thomas, what was the news there for Andrew Thomas? What was the idea that he went so early? What do you think the Giants saw in him? Or just bad?
I think they just maybe liked his character and maybe some maybe skill set character, like, because he was good, but I'm pretty sure he was rated maybe like to go like 15 picks later than he did, maybe like the 4th or 5th offensive tackle on the board, and they picked him first. Yeah. So they might have just liked him.
Yeah. So let's move into this. So then real similar then to probably what happened with Love, is that the Packers just decided they like Jordan Love, and Gutekunst and Zach, I forget our coach's name now, it just slipped my mind. Went with the surprise pick and the surprise trade. Instead of getting a skill player, which Aaron Rodgers that morning on a local radio show, I found out, goes, it'd be nice for them to finally draft a skill player in the 1st or 2nd round for me. Literally said that in the morning. Instead, they didn't draft a safety. They didn't draft lineman. Instead of a wide receiver, which everyone expected, they drafted Aaron Rodgers' replacement.
Well, I mean, I'm sure Brett Favre wanted a running back or wide receiver drafted when they drafted Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, he did, but we'll talk about Brett Favre in a second. But instead of there's a lot of parallels to what happened in 2005. But instead of any of that,
Chris, I love the pick.
Yeah, they went with a quarterback. Now, I'm a little biased, even though I have a strange opinion. But let's get both of you, because one of you guys love the pick, and one of you guys hate the pick.
Yeah. I mean, I think I like it, so I would guess Wayne's the one that hates it, right?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. I just think, in today's NFL, you got to have weapons. You got to have people all over the field that can make a play and advance the football. I think in today's game, if say they were going to meet say they did make it to the Super Bowl and they were to meet the Chiefs, I mean, they just don't have enough weapons for success.
Yeah.
That one
Niners.
One wide receiver, and if they never got Love and they got somebody, a wide receiver or a tackle or whatever, that's not going to be enough to probably beat the Chiefs either, or the Niners. And then if you think Rodgers has been going down the last few years, so you would think now
hold on, that's your opinion.
Chris asked me for my opinion. Am I supposed to say my opinion? Right?
Well, no, I just want to make sure that I'm not being tied in with the opinion of you stating that Rodgers is declining.
He has been declining. It's well known that he's been declining in the last few years.
Rodgers declining is still a Pro Bowl MVP.
Exactly. He's still good.
He's
the
still
quarterbacks
great.
are still bad. He's still one of the better quarterbacks, right?
So could you attribute his declining, though, that you see? Could you attribute it to lack of playmakers?
Yes. I can too, for sure. But what I'm saying is Love is a good young quarterback. They say maybe Mahone-ish. I mean, he used to do a lot. He did a lot of things for probably a crappy Utah State team, but he made stuff happen. I mean, when you saw him play, you're like, this guy is good. I saw a few Utah State games here and there, So if you're gonna draft a guy, if you think your quarterback's on the decline, wouldn't you want to draft a young quarterback? Because the name of the game is protecting your future and your
So-
team, right?
So that's
it was
that's exactly what they did, Lo. But I think what Wayne's trying to say is that you have what some people think is the greatest quarterback of all time. Maybe not, doesn't have Brady's resume, but he's at least in the conversation for a lot of people. And you have still prime years. You know, if some of his decline was because 2 years ago he was playing on a fracture, and then last year he had to keep throwing the ball away, which is what happened. Then what Wayne is arguing, and I see where he's arguing it, is that is it the time to like really cement your legacy with a quarterback with at minimum some questions? You know what I mean? At minimum some questions. Right now he's more bad Brett Favre than good Brett Favre. Love is, right? So what do you do, Lo? So what you said is right, and I think that is what they're doing. So I think that your analysis of that is correct. But you've given Aaron Rodgers no help. Everyone got better. We all saw the Packers get to the NFC Championship, but they didn't look like this unbeatable team. And now all these other teams got better. And I think that's what Wayne, I don't want to put words in Wayne's mouth, but I think that's what Wayne and people that are criticizing this pick do. What do you got? 2 more years of Pro Bowl, Aaron Rodgers, maybe 3?
Well, they did draft that running back, like we said, and they drafted a tight end, so they're giving him some weapons too. You know what I mean? It's not like
we'll get to those too in a minute. But what you think the right decision, Matt LaFleur? I was thinking Zach from the Titans for a second.
Love wasn't going to be there later, so you got to get Love now and trust your staff and your scouts that they can get guys in the deeper rounds that can contribute on the offensive end.
So let's do this way. Let's do this, Lo. Now, what the things that you say are correct. That's what they're doing. I think you're right on. You know, and then Wayne's correct too. Like that's a obvious thing. Now what I want both of you guys to do is pretend you're Aaron Rodgers. How do you feel if you're Aaron Rodgers?
Hey, Danica, get me another beer, please. Thank you.
Danica.
Thank you.
So you don't care? Aaron Rodgers doesn't care? What about you, Wayne? What do you think what do you think is going on in Aaron Rodgers' mind as he's sitting there watching the draft and he sees his replacement instead of like T. Higgins getting drafted?
First of all, let's be honest.
He cared for sure.
Well, what I'm going to say is, first of all, we don't even know if this guy's going to be that good. He may fizzle out and be a nobody.
Love?
The reality of it is,
Love?
Yes. So the reality of it is there's no guarantee that he's going to replace Rodgers. They could force it, they could put him out there with, but there's no guarantee he's going to replace Rodgers. I mean, there's no way you're going to go from Brett Favre to Rodgers to the next Rodgers. It's just
yeah. I mean, that's true. There's no guarantee, but there's no guarantee that there's not. It's not.
Yeah.
The possibility is minimal that he's going to be the guy that replaces Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, he definitely is not going to replace. No, he definitely will not replace Tom Brady.
Wayne, before you go on, before you answer the main question, I just want to comment what you said there is that, okay, there's no guarantee, but Matt LaFleur, who's a mechanics guy, who sees a guy with all these tools, obviously what Matt LaFleur is going through his mind is that, oh, that's my specialty. That guy has every tool. He has the height. He has everything I need. His mechanics are poor and he makes mistakes. But Matt LaFleur, in his mind, goes, oh, when Rodgers leaves, that's the guy that I'm going to spend 12 years with.
Love can move, he can throw.
That's what he's thinking. With that said, you're right. He could just still suck. You know what I mean? He could just still suck. But go ahead.
Wayne,
if you're Aaron Rodgers,
right.
Yeah, if you're Aaron Rodgers, Wayne, how do you feel? What do you think?
If I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm livid right now. I'm livid because I'm looking
You're a little
at it
salty.
like this. I'm looking at it like this. Like, okay, I had one receiver that was not even, he was just barely off of 1,000 yards receiving. And my next best receiver, as far as yards, was like 600, 400 yards. It's like, give me somebody that.
Your third best receiver was the running back.
Exactly. So my thing is, give me somebody.
You want your receiver to be one of your better, your running back to be one of your receivers, just like Le'Veon Bell, stuff like that, right? Christian McCaffrey.
Give me a good number 2 that's going to be where he's supposed to be when I throw the ball accurately where it's supposed to be. I want to be able to move the football down the field and score points. Jordan Love doesn't do that today.
This year.
And who they drafted, if they got a wide receiver or whatever, instead of Love, there's no guarantee that he would have been anything.
He wouldn't.
You're in the same spot. You're in the same spot.
But Aaron Rodgers needed some help. I mean, even if the guy doesn't develop or doesn't get good next year.
He got help. They drafted a tight end. They drafted a running back. They're going to get guys off the mark.
They drafted these in late rounds. They drafted these guys in late rounds, Lo.
So what? Tom Brady was a draft pick in the late round. You're gonna have to go with the scout.
Tom Brady in the draft, dude. Like, okay, yes, but it's less likely.
So to combat your argument, Lo, after they made that pick of Jordan Love in the second round, there was a series of wide receivers that went off the board in the second round that would have
immediately
definitely assisted and made a difference on the Packers team if they were drafted instead of Jordan Love. T. Higgins, Clemson.
Exactly. So most mocks I saw, Wayne, Pittman. But most mocks I saw had T. Higgins going to the Packers at the end of the second round, and he went first pick of the second round.
The Packers might not like those those wide receivers as much as they liked Love, and Love wouldn't have been there later. Maybe those receivers would have.
Well, I mean, that's right. You're right. That's what they thought, or that they thought those receivers would fall to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Wayne's right. Wayne's go to name them.
My problem is how do you do nothing in free agency and nothing in the draft? It's a foregone conclusion that teams get better in the draft.
So you think they did nothing in the draft? You think they drafted horribly?
I do. You build depth. And you improve your team in the draft. And then you get those. You also can improve them in free agents. The Packers don't spend money on players in free agency. They never have. They never.
Well, not a lot of players want to go to.
No, they might start Wayne in the future, but you're right.
So here's my thing, though. Here's my thing. If the Packers haven't drafted an offensive player in the first round in 15 years since they drafted Aaron Rodgers,
they have drafted offensive, just not a wide receiver or running back.
Okay, not a skill player since. Actually,
Rodgers.
Didn't they get Eddie Lacy?
He's not a first rounder. No. Running backs rarely go first round.
They haven't drafted a skill player in the first round since Aaron Rodgers.
So my thing is you've had all this success. I mean, you've had all this success. Why not get a first round caliber wide receiver for your Hall of Fame quarterback
at the end of his career?
What kind of success he has after that at the end of his career. It's just I have questions about their scouting team and their GM.
Well, that's not necessarily how you win games. Like the Niners, you might go defensive. They've been going like the 49ers got Bosa. That was probably one of the best picks of the whole entire draft last year. He's a defender.
You're right.
You don't always go offense.
You're right, Lo, but
wide receiver doesn't change your make your team go to win a Super Bowl.
You're right, Lo, but the biggest hole, the thing everyone saw, whenever they would do replays and they would put the camera, they do the replay where they put the camera behind Aaron Rodgers. Last year they would go, look, no one's open. And then Aaron Rodgers scrambles to the right. Brett Favre would have tried to throw it into triple coverage. Aaron Rodgers is going to be a little bit more safe, which I complained about. But then you go, no one's open. Devontae Adams being double teamed. Aaron Rodgers, scrambles to the right and throws the ball away. So you're right. Bosa's a great pick, et cetera, but the one thing everyone knew the Packers needed was a wide receiver. Now, here's what I'll say, because me and Wayne went back and forth in the thread about wide receivers and that they take time to develop. At that point, I thought that they just saw a wide receiver they liked, that they thought they'd get in the second round, and maybe that was true. Maybe they thought T. Higgins or Pittman would drop to them. And they didn't. So it turns out to be, even though I think wide receivers take time to develop, you still gotta put a coin in the machine and hope you hit the jackpot. They didn't get any of those guys. So even if what I say that they take to develop is right, second year they could be a number 2. All you really need is a guy to like mix up defenses so that they're not always double teaming Devontae Adams. Instead what they took two areas where they don't have problems this year, and maybe the draft. I don't want to say that the draft is bad, Lo, because over 5 years it might be great.
Yeah.
But for Aaron Rodgers to get a Super Bowl, it's not great. the two positions they drafted with their first 2 picks are the 2 positions they don't need. They have a bruiser with Jamal Williams. They have Aaron. I'm so bad with names, dude. Aaron? What's the Packers?
Jones. Aaron Jones.
Yeah, they got Aaron Jones. They got a big running back already. The dude that they picked is another big guy, which I'm sure he's going to get touches. They want a third guy, but I mean, what is he? 5 to 8 touches and a quarterback that is a project.
Okay, do you know any of their?
The Packers are the same. If the season happens this year, they're the same team. And that team, even though it made it to the NFC Championship, you were never wowed by them.
Well, Rodgers might step up. Rodgers might step up a little more.
I think so.
Like I said, he will, but if he doesn't have anybody to catch the football after Davante Adams, then there's only so much you could do. Like if they have you out there low and Davante Adams.
Well, I'm gonna catch the ball. You give me 20 million and throw me the ball in the end zone. I guarantee you I catch that ball. So we don't want to get on that. I'll guarantee that.
I don't care how much Aaron Rodgers steps up. If you're out there opposite of Davante Adams, it's over.
It is over. I'm gonna catch the ball and get a touchdown. Okay, of course. Anyway,
if every team around you gets better immediately and you don't.
They are going to get better. They have a motivated Aaron Rodgers now. They're better right off the gate. And then,
I hope that happens.
Chris, do you know any? What?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think that's going to happen, though. I think you're right. I hope that happens. That's exciting. Not Bakhtiari. Maybe it was Bakhtiari. One of his offensive linemen, was quoted as being really excited because we're going to get chip on our shoulder, Aaron Rodgers. We're going to get Aaron Rodgers.
That's a scary Aaron Rodgers.
That's a weird draft strategy. Okay, that's a weird draft strategy. I'm going to piss off our quarterback so that he plays well. That's just a strange strategy.
Okay, so let me go here. Let me go real quick. So, do you know any of their free agent pickups recently?
No, they didn't do a lot in free agency.
Oh, they didn't do anything at all. They didn't get any defense.
I'll pull it up. They didn't do. They didn't do a ton. I was hoping they'd get a receiver. As you guys know, I think wide receivers take some time to develop. And a couple of streams ago, I said I hope that they would do it in free agency. I'd rather see them pick up a guy in free agency like an Emmanuel Sanders than necessarily draft a wide receiver to win now, right?
Okay,
if it was there, but they didn't. They didn't get any of those receivers. They didn't get any big names.
Okay, listen for 2 minutes. Listen for 2 minutes. So I think they got a couple of defensive guys, but anyway, the way you help your team is not always in the draft and offensively. Like if you go defense or if you get a couple of defense on the free agent market, those guys will help your guys on the offensive end because your offensive, your guys, they're getting your guys the offense the ball more, right? You're getting more reps, you're getting more plays because the defense is stepping up and getting 3 and outs and getting your offense. Give Rodgers the ball more basically. And let him have more chances to make plays, and your team is better just like that. It's not better because you got wide receiver 1 round earlier. You see what I'm saying?
So my thing, man. I know you guys both. I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, Lo, but I know Chris's big thing is it takes wide receivers a long time to develop. I disagree with that. I think right now in today's game, if you pick a wide receiver from Clemson or a wide receiver from Alabama or a wide receiver from LSU, you will find a wide receiver that is pro ready for the most part. No, they're not going to come in and dominate and be your automatic number 1 because you should have a number 1 already. But I think they're going to give you significant production to where it allows your offense to move the ball efficiently and effectively.
Well, those wide receiver numbers for a rookie, they're going to look better lately because the offensive game is so much more prevalent that the numbers are going to look, they're skewed. They're going to look pretty good. That's because Mahomes. What?
All his wide receivers that he showed, the only numbers that looked really good, I mean, they were starting wide receivers and they had like flashes, but all the wide receivers he put in that text, the only thing that looked good were touchdowns. Like everything else was.
Yeah, the numbers are going to look better because they throw more these days.
AJ Brown had 1,000 yards.
Yeah, I mean, they contributed, Wayne. I'd love if they got AJ Brown.
The Packers signed Devin Funchess. So I mean, is
Oh,
that
yeah.
really going to be
No.
your number
Basically-
2 guy?
Basically a tight end. Yeah, that was their big signing.
Right. So Darius Shepard as well. Malik Taylor. I don't even know who that is.
Defensive guys.
No, Malik Taylor's a wide receiver, and
What's
Darius
the other
Shepard.
guy?
Who is Darius
Cornerback?
Shepard? Didn't he come from? Is that the kid from the Giants?
I didn't even
No.
see Shepard on their
No,
free agent
you're thinking
list.
of Sterling Shepard. I think the other guy's a defensive guy. Sterling Shepard's Giants.
Darius
Man,
Shepard.
I love if the Packers got Sterling Shepard.
Yeah.
I didn't even see Shepard on this list of on the list I'm looking at, Wayne. I didn't even see Shepard on it.
Darius
So-
Shepard.
Christian Kirksey. So the answer is no. Low. They didn't do much. They got Devin Funchess. Maybe he's big. Devin Funchess is a big guy. If he's healthy, maybe Aaron finds them. I mean, but what Funchess is only so good. What he really replaces is Jimmy Graham as the tall end zone. And old Jimmy Graham at that, not New Orleans Jimmy Graham. So anyway, the Packers made a decision. I think this is what we can agree on, whether it's good or bad. The Packers made a decision to they were thinking more long-term in their opinion. They chose not to support Aaron Rodgers this year in free agency or the draft. Whether how much it would help is irrelevant. What'll definitely not help? No receivers. That's what'll definitely not help.
Yeah, but it might help. They might be changing the playbook for him or helping him out in different ways. It's not just about a wide receiver, They might be doing different stuff is what I'm trying to say.
As a Packer fan, I hope it sets a fire under Aaron Rodgers. I hope he wins a Super Bowl, and then right after the Super Bowl, asks to get traded. I mean, I don't hope he has to get traded, but then asks to get traded.
To be honest, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. That whole, not what you're saying, but the whole it lights a fire under Rodgers, because that implies
Why is that?
he wasn't. Because that implies that the guy wasn't playing his best and putting his best foot forward.
Well, that happens. That happens with people sometimes. You get that in regular jobs and in sport. It's just that's life, Wade. You're not going to always get. There's not not everybody's Kobe. You know what I'm saying? There's some players that.
I resent that comment. I think
that's true.
Aaron Rodgers was playing his best all year. He got to the NFC Championship. He just never had a wide receiver other than Devontae Adams, and the team.
He was frustrated last year, was he not, or the year before? Aaron Rodgers. Frustration leads.
Frustrated.
Yeah, frustration leads
to. The year before he was. Go ahead. Frustration leads to.
No, I'm saying frustration leads to you maybe not having your best play every play or your best thing going on. You know what I mean? Because you're frustrated.
2 years ago, he was frustrated because that's when McCarthy got fired. He was also playing on that fracture, so he was frustrated then. Last year, he wasn't frustrated. I think Aaron Rodgers' personality is completely fine with not having to force the ball and win games on his own. Because at the end of games, even when they were close, he would say things like, they would say the running game did this and this and this, and he'd be like, well, it's nice to be 6-1. So I think that he's perfectly fine not being the guy that's winning so long as you're winning. And Wayne's right too. Like if you're a high level player, you're always playing at a high level, but there's still that extra fire. I think the most famous story of a fire under your ass is Randy Moss. Randy Moss had all the tools, but as soon as you lit that under his ass after he got, he dropped down in the draft and stuff. Maybe Aaron Rodgers tries to make a couple more of those throws instead of throws it away. And it starts opening up in its own way. Who knows? I mean, Wayne's right. If you're playing at that level, you don't need it. But for some reason, it looks like it happens. And Aaron Rodgers is definitely pissed. Like Aaron Rodgers is a sensitive dude. Greg Jennings said so. He's a sensitive guy.
There you go. So your motivation,
Chris, Aaron Rodgers could be super motivated as all get up. But at the end of the day, if you don't got anybody to throw the football to besides Adams, it doesn't matter. And I'll just put my stamp on it right now. As far as I'm concerned, they're the team that gets the F in the draft for me. Undoubtedly, I feel bad for Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, go to Denver. John Elway will get you a Super Bowl.
John Elway will get you a Super Bowl. Let me go. I just have a random article open. I should cite them. This is the New York Post draft grades. So they also gave that. So these are the teams that fell below the Packers. I just want to see what Wayne thinks. I know you're not going to know every player on that they drafted, Wayne, but that's fine. So they actually said the Rams had a worse draft. Rams picked up Akers from Florida State, wide receiver Van Jefferson. They had the Chicago Bears, who got a tight end in the first round.
They say they have 10 tight ends on their roster. I don't know if that's true.
That's funny. The Falcons got a D+. The Texans got a D. Ross Blaylock, they got a defensive tackle. And the Las Vegas Raiders, this list has the Las Vegas Raiders as having the worst draft.
Wow, the worst draft.
They didn't impress me with their draft, to be honest.
3 of their first 4 picks were
wide receivers.
And the fourth, Arnett, was the first round's biggest reach.
Yeah, but I like Arnett from Ohio State. That was a reach because he was supposed to go a couple rounds later, maybe. That's a reach, but they went defense. I mean, they went give Derek Carr. You guys are saying wide receivers matter and rookies help out right away. The Raiders said, I'm just saying, in Wayne's argument, the Raiders got you 3 good wide receivers for Derek Carr, and then they went all defense after that. I think that's a decent draft. Derek Carr needed help, right? I think he needed help on the offensive end.
Yeah.
I don't like Ruggs that much. I didn't think. I mean, he might be good, but as far as I'm concerned, I think Judy was the number 1 wide receiver on my board.
Well, Wayne, you said you liked the Cleveland with that little LSU tie. You know, boys playing together, sometimes that helps out, right? Your boy that you know, whatever, you feel comfortable. The Raiders got Josh Jones. They drafted Josh Jones's boy, or Josh Jacobs' boy, right? The Raiders got Ruggs from Alabama, Jacobs' former teammate.
Oh,
right?
That's true.
Maybe they like each other.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying
that's funny. That's funny. I forgot about Jacobs because he got hurt so quick. I really liked him, man.
When he played, chemistry,
that's chemistry right there. That's chemistry right there, right off the bat. That was a good draft pick last year from the Raiders, right? Running back Jacobs.
But I think they lost a safety too. I think that was important for them to get because the Browns picked up their safety. So that was a need. I think personally, this is just my opinion. I feel like you definitely, depending on the round and when you're drafting, you definitely want to go with the best player available. But more importantly, even though it sounds odd, you want to go with your needs too. That all has to weigh a factor. And I just think, the Packers didn't address needs to me. So that's why they get an F. The Raiders, for me, they did an okay draft. I wouldn't say it the worst. Hey, interesting fact, by the way. This is I just heard it. I don't know how true it is, but from what I found out is there's 3 teams in the NFL that do not have an LSU player on their roster.
3 teams?
I like it. I like it. They're everywhere. I like that.
Yeah.
The Colts, the Texans, and the Packers.
No LSU players, huh?
No LSU players on their roster. So that means they don't covet speed, which is probably why nobody gets open. That also means that
they don't draft high because a lot of LSU players are always pretty good and they get drafted high early. So if you didn't draft high the last 3, 4, 5, 6 years, you probably don't have an LSU or an Alabama guy in your roster.
Never draft high, dude. Year.
That's what I'm saying.
What was it? A couple of years. So last year's draft, I think we had the 20th pick. That was the best draft pick I think we've had.
LSU guys are gone by then.
Yeah, I mean, also too, we go right next to LSU. We prefer to draft players from the University of Southern Mississippi.
Okay, there you go. Tulane. You like Tulane, like in New Orleans or Southern Mississippi or something like that. You like?
I was just calling out Favre's alma mater.
I know.
So I got a topic for you guys. Let's go with.
You got a new topic.
I mean, it's associated with the draft. Let's go with the Patriots draft. How did you feel about that?
Their first pick.
their first pick was an interesting pick from a very small school. Anybody's having opinions on that?
From
What was his name?
Saint Lenore, from Saint Lenore Rhine. Is it a Saint? I'm not even sure if it's a safety. From Lenore Rhine, they really liked Kyle Duggar. Well, what's interesting about that is, to me, is like sometimes I see picks like that and I'm like, oh, you like something about him, but where was that guy going in mocks? Does that guy go in the first, like, isn't he going to be there in the second round?
Well, the Patriots draft different than other teams. They don't.
Yeah, they do. So
they do their own thing. Yeah, they do their own thing. They don't look at mocks.
Well, and when you're saying that, Lo, and this is
trade out of the first round. They trade out of the first round. I forgot.
This is my comment to that, though, Lo. My thing is can you sometimes try to be so different? And so, like, I think Bill Belichick, my personal opinion, he prides himself on trying to find those players that nobody else finds value in. I think that's like his MO. That's what he likes to do. He thinks that he always thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. And typically he is. Yeah. But until you're not, so he went ahead and drafted some guys, that kid that may be successful, but it was a gamble. I think with your very first pick, whether it's in the first round or the second round, I think you always got to go with that safe player, best player on the board, with needs. And I don't think that was the best player on the board for the team.
Probably not, but it's the player they wanted.
You could definitely talk yourself out of picks, but you could talk yourself into picks. Like, if you're listening to everybody else, that's probably not a good thing, but you could try to be too smart too and try to be sneaky. And I'm picking a guy that nobody would think we'd pick, something like
I'm going to say Bill Belichick's wrong once he's wrong. Let's wait for him to actually be.
Well, I think this is about to be it because everybody's leaving him. I mean, you got Tom Brady out the door. You got Gronk comes back. He's like, yo, I want to play football again as long as it's not for Bill Belichick. So could this be the year?
He didn't say that. He didn't say that.
It wasn't because not Bill Belichick. He wants to play with Brady.
Yeah, he has a lot of love for Belichick. I mean, he says it all the time.
Well, of course, he didn't say that. He didn't say that, but he didn't say that either. You know what I mean? My thing is, Bill Belichick, this could be the year that he's all wrong. I mean, the guy that he took, what pick was that, Chris? Because this guy was the 9th best DB on the grade board as far as DBs is concerned.
All right, while Chris is looking that up, I was just going to say, like, for Belichick, he can do no wrong this coming year, right? Or 2022, because it's not going to be a good year. So if they're 500 or if they're a few games over 500 and he's trying different players out, he can do no wrong, right? I mean, it's like he lost Gronk, he lost Brady. He's basically can just try whatever he wants this year. Yeah. I think so.
I mean, and to be honest, dude, I mean, I know the Bills are getting better. I know that division's better than it has been for most of Brady's career, but I mean, it's still not this amazing division. A lot can go wrong. He went 37th, Wayne. A ton could still go wrong. You know what I mean? That's what I should have been doing this whole time, is putting the guy we're talking about where he went. That's a great idea to remember to do at the end of the conversation. But what the fuck were we talking about?
We were talking about Belichick and his drafting and
oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he still makes the playoffs, to be honest. Like Bill Belichick's the hardest guy to guess. Like he's either gonna just screw everyone, basically be the extreme troll that I've been, that it was mostly Belichick, not Brady. He's either gonna go 13-3 or he's gonna go, 6-10. You know,
let me tell you one of the things that they got. They got a good defense still, and they got Sony Michel still, so that's good,
Yeah, that's great. But from what I hear, Sony Michel's injury prone, but maybe he's not. But I think the Miami Dolphins are going to be the leaders of the pack in that division.
Nah, not next year. Not next year.
Yeah. Nah. Yeah, you better look at their team.
Nah.
Tua, good running game, good defense.
Tua's not even going to play.
He's not going to play.
Tua's not playing.
Let's evaluate their draft. Let's take a look at their draft right now. Let's see who they picked up.
Yeah, that's like a 3 year. You're on the 3 year plan, Wayne.
They have
Wayne.
they have
Draft-
Devontae Parker,
No.
who's a very good wide receiver, right? I like him. He's breaking out lately.
Oh, Parker
Yeah,
left.
like
I think
Did he leave?
no.
I think
Did
you
he?
guys forget. I think you guys forget that there was a part of the engine that made the Patriots go. That major piston that it's out of there. That somebody took the piston out of the engine, so it's not going to fire right at all.
Well,
I mean, their defense is
crazy.
still going to be pretty good. So
the main
we'll see.
piston. The main piston was Belichick.
Tom Brady.
They still looked great. They still look great. And Tom Brady arguably had a worse year than Aaron Rodgers did. And I know
Well,
that he's older, et cetera, but he arguably was sometimes liability there. I've said he wasn't. I've said it's the team, but
Chris wants actually. I didn't think about that, Wayne. Chris wants the Patriots to do great,
I
so
do.
he could say it wasn't Brady, like
Hey,
blah 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 blah.
If the Patriots do great in the next 3 years, or at least equal to what they were doing, like getting deep in the playoffs, you're gonna get texts every day.
Well, you're not getting Super Bowls, so that still won't matter.
Well, I mean, they only got so many they've lost more in the playoffs than they've won Super Bowls, though.
So what? Only so many.
FYI.
What did they got? Like 8 or something, right? Did he go
FYI, FYI, not Tom Brady, but Bill Belichick, his drafts haven't been really that good. They like N'Keal Harry. That guy was trash last year.
Dude, he's a rookie. You got to
He's
give
a
him some
rookie.
time. You have to give him
Yeah.
time, man.
Rookies can make an impact. You know what I'm saying? Tom
No.
Brady's
No.
the man. Tom Brady's the man.
No,
You
rookies
can't
don't make
get
impact
open-
usually.
Hey, if you can't get open for Tom Brady, you can't get open for anybody.
Okay, let's wind this down, guys. Let's do some final thoughts about the draft. I mean, this is normally the funnest time of the year. It still was, right? I'll give my final thoughts first. Normally, this is like one of the most fun times of the year because it's right in between. You know, after Super Bowl, you've watched a lot of football. You're not happy it's over, but okay, you get a little rest. You heard a lot about the XFL today, but it disappeared. And then like you get nothing, and then the draft comes, and you get that taste. You start hearing, you never forget Tom Brady's name or Aaron Rodgers' name, but you start hearing names like Devin Funchess again. You start hearing the names, that an avid football fan hears every week. And it's that taste of football season again. And it makes you think about fantasy football, makes you think about October. And that's my favorite part of the draft. And I don't think that the draft was that different. I still think I felt that. Now, would I have rather have been on the strip with Angelo, drinking beers, going to the festivities, watching it in the sports book? Because we would have done that. It was in Vegas. We would have done that. I would have loved to do that. It didn't happen, but for the most part, it felt the same. In fact, I felt like there was more community. There were more chats and more people talking. So those are my
2022.
Huh?
2022.
So, Lo, final thoughts on the draft. Let's wind this up.
I like that Justin Herbert pick. We didn't get to talk about that, but I like that San Diego or the Los Angeles Chargers pick of Herbert. I don't know.
We did a whole draft. I told you to do final thoughts, and I'm interrupting you, Lo. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
We did a whole draft, and I don't want to start. We didn't say shit about Burrows. We didn't talk about Burrows at all.
Well, he was everybody knew they were going to pick him, and he's not going to be that good right away anyway. I don't think so. Why talk about something that everybody else is talking about? That's not what we do.
That's true. We talk about bullshit.
Yeah, we talk about bullshit. Now, my final thought.
Go ahead.
What's up? My final thought was by Herbert. I like that pick to the Chargers. He's long. It's kind of like we got to get somebody to fill Rivers' spot. This guy could be it. Also, we did this whole podcast. All we talked about was NFL, and I'm a little disappointed in that. That's my final thought.
It was always going to be NFL today.
Oh, I thought this was the chaos and comics one about everything.
No, this is going to be about NFL. I'll talk about other stuff too. But yeah, the draft was 3 days of football, so we had to spend an hour on it.
Okay.
Wayne, final thoughts?
Hey, final thoughts is there's a lot of teams that improve themselves in the draft. Especially the Browns, not the Patriots. I think and I think the Miami Dolphins are going to win the AFC East.
No way, dude. That's not happening.
That's
I like it. And my last and final thought, Jordan Love's a bust.
Wayne, you have a question. You have a question down there. Can you see it?
Dude, look at this guy eating an apple, just full on, like breaking that apple down, dude.
It says, Wayne, do the Packers make the playoffs?
Do the Packers make the playoffs? Great question, Chris Sarda.
So Bears still have the Trubisky problem, but Minnesota's legit. Minnesota is one of the better teams in the league.
Minnesota's a respectable team. They also lost a pivotal wide receiver. Did they get a wide receiver in the draft? That's an interesting question.
Yeah, they drafted right away. They drafted a guy from LSU.
Yeah, they did. They just Justin Jefferson.
Well, in that case, do the Packers make the playoffs? No.
Maybe wild card. Maybe wild card.
No.
You should have asked them if the Browns made the playoffs. You should have asked them that.
That's
you want to get
We're going to be talking about that all summer. We'll be talking about that all summer. This guy will be talking about like cancer patients who'll try to work in Browns talk.
Okay, Wayne, you don't have a question on the bottom of the screen. You have a question coming out of my mouth right now. How's that apple?
How's that apple?
Hey, apple was good, player. The apple was good.
I saw you had that red apple.
Okay, everybody. So people watching this on the rewind, if you got this far, I mean, we're all friends. We used to hang out and do this at bars and restaurants, watching in the morning, getting day drunk and whatnot. Now we're older. We live in different places. So we're excited that we can do this online at the very least. Just talk crap about each other. A lot less cussing. There's cussing here, but a lot less than there normally is. Hey, this has been the Chaotic Sports Podcast. Find us at Chaotic Sports on Twitter and at Chaotic Sports Podcast on Instagram. Go to at Chris Hart on Twitter and at Never Do I Lose for Wayne over there. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys tomorrow after The Last Dance. I forgot to plug that like 6 times. Last Dance, post-game wrap-up after episode 4. 2 episodes tomorrow, then come here. See you guys later.
And then immediately Last Dance.
Go Browns.